Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I am showing you how you can use your sourdough starter discard to make these eggless sourdough brownies. They are indulgent and super delicious. The tops are nice and glossy and crackly while the insides are deliciously fudgy. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is melt your chocolate and butter in a bain-marie. Now this essentially is when you have a saucepan which contains about 2 inches of water. It's just some water that we heat up and simmer, and we place a bowl, a heat-proof bowl on top of the saucepan like so. And in that bowl I have some chopped dark chocolate and some butter. And I'm just going to use the heat from that saucepan or the heat from the water inside the saucepan to sort of heat up the glass bowl, the heat proof bowl, which helps us melt the butter and the chocolate. You'll see that after a couple of minutes, both the butter and the chocolate begins to melt. Look how luscious that looks, and there's just a few tiny pieces of butter and chocolate left. At this point we will take it off the heat because the residual heat will melt the rest of the butter and chocolate, and look how lush that is. Now it's time to add our sourdough starter discard. There's an entire recipe on how you can make your own sourdough starter to make amazingly delicious baked goods, and the discard that is left after you feed the starter can be used to make delicious baked goodies like this chocolate brownie. So there is an entire playlist as well on my channel. You'll see the link popping up on the screen where I'm showing you all things sourdough, so do check it out. Now I'm just going to mix that sourdough into my chocolate batter, and now I'm going to swap my spatula for a whisk so that all the ingredients combine really well. Look how thick and beautiful that has gone. That's exactly what you're looking for. Now it's time to add the sweetener. So here in a bowl I have some caster sugar and some jaggery, and to that I'm going to add some milk. Now this I'm going to just quickly heat up and melt together. You can also pop this in the microwave to heat it till it all melts, and look how beautiful that looks. It almost looks like caramel sauce, and quite frankly, if you taste it at this point, it will taste like caramel sauce because jaggery naturally has caramel notes. It's nice and molten and liquid, so we're going to add this into our brownie batter. Once I do that, I'm going to whisk it rigorously just so as to ensure that the sweetener has mixed well with the brownie batter, and you can see tiny bubbles popping up, which is just perfect. Now we'll start adding our dry ingredients, which is basically all-purpose flour and some cocoa powder. The ingredients, the exact measurements that I have used are down in the description box below, so don't forget to check it out. Now I'll add a little of that flour and cocoa powder mix, and then just give it a good whisk and just combine those dry ingredients into the brownie batter before adding the rest of the dry ingredients. It's again just flour and cocoa powder, but I've added it in small additions so as to not overwhelm the brownie batter. Now it's time for us to whisk this entire batter together so that all the dry ingredients combine really well with the brownie batter, and look how dark and rich and luxurious that looks. And trust me guys, this is going to make the most indulgent brownies. I'm just going to use my spatula and mix the batter one last time just to make sure everything is well combined, and just look at that batter. Tell me that you're not salivating. I will not believe you, because at this point truly I am salivating looking at this. Now I'm going to cover it with a damp cloth and just let it rest at room temperature for 1 hour. And while that rests, I will then preheat the oven 45 minutes into the resting phase. The oven is preheating at 180 degrees Celsius. Here I have a brownie tin which I have greased generously with some butter. I'm going to pour my brownie batter properly into this baking tray. And I'm then also going to use my spatula to just sort of evenly spread this batter out so that it is all spaced out properly. These brownies will not rise as much because we haven't added any eggs or leavening. It's eggless as I've specified earlier, so they won't rise as much. Now as a finishing touch, I will sprinkle some sea salt on the top of this brownie and brownie batter. And these will bake in the oven for about 18 to 19 minutes. A skewer or a knife inserted in the center of the oven should come out not exactly clean, but just with a few moist crumbs. Let it rest at room temperature, let it cool down completely. This takes about 2 to 3 hours, so you have to exercise the patience. I know it is difficult, but do it and you will be awarded or rewarded rather with some delicious brownies. I'm going to slice into these brownies now and look at that crackly top. Like, it looks so stunning at this point. It's just fabulous. The tops are nice and crackly, and I'm going to show you what this looks like on the inside. Just take a look at that. I mean, that looks absolutely indulgent. The tops are glossy and crackly and the insides are so super fudgy. I have to take a bite. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe for eggless chocolate brownies. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new recipe. Now I will see you again next time. Until then, goodbye and happy baking.